Chaperones, this includes you as well. Feel free to type your answer in as well. Again, please type your name, the campus that you are from, the D trip that you're going on, and what you're most excited about for the trip. And we'll take about 2 minutes to see responses before we move into other parts of our agenda. Awesome. Thanks, Mr. Shanahan, for kicking us off. Feel free, students and other chaperones as well, to type your responses. We'll take about another minute to see responses come through. Don't be shy. You will spend 3 to 4 days with lots of different people, so this is a great time to break the ice and to get to know each other a little bit more. Again, type your name, what campus you are from, what deep trip you're going on, and what you're most excited about for the trips. Thanks, Sammy, for that great reflection. Really excited that you can go on one of your top schools and see it in person. Chicago's a great city. You're gonna have lots of fun. So thanks, Elizabeth. Thanks, Miss Brown. Thanks, Miss Marcus. Really appreciate all the different insights. Awesome. Thank you all so much. I really appreciate it. So if you've not typed your response, feel free to do that as well. We're going to keep moving forward. Just make sure we give enough time to get through our material for tonight. For those who have not had the pleasure of meeting, my name is Justin Wellham. I'm super fortunate to serve as DSST's Senior Manager of College Initiatives, People, and Program. So I help support our campuses with college initiative work, and I get to help plan amazing trips like the Deep Trip. So this is one of my favorite things I get to do in my job, and I'm really excited to. This is my fourth year planning these trips. I was the very first chaperone for the LA trip back in 2018. So I've been around DST for about 7 years, took the first set of students to LA, and we've been doing this ever since 2018. So really excited to be planning and leading and organizing. I'm the one who's been sending all the emails, and it's so great to meet you all virtually, and can't wait to see you all have a great time on these trips in a couple weeks. So here's how we'll spend our time tonight. We'll do an overview of the deep trips, what to expect, what to look for. We'll share a packing list and logistics. This is something that a few of you have reached out for about what things to bring on the trip. So we have a packing list that we've made that I'll be sharing as well. You'll see your deep schedule, so what schools you'll be visiting each day. All of your tours and flights have been booked. We are almost done with hotels. One of the hotels is booked, but I have to wait for our credit card to reconcile to book the other two, but those will be booked by the end of the week. And then you're going to actually have a chance to break out with your actual deep trip and to brainstorm with your chaperones and get to know them. What kind of things you're hoping to do on the trip? Each day, we will have some flex time and some chaperone discretion led activities. So this could be, for example, in LA, you might want to go see the Griffith Observatory or see the Hollywood sign. In Boston, you might want to walk around Boston Commons, or Chicago, you might want to take in one of the awesome museums. So lots of good opportunity for you to explore the city. So you'll be brainstorming ideas with your chaperones and making sure you guys are ready to go for your specific trip. So as things come through, thank you all for putting your responses. Can't wait to go back and to see those. So excited to see that there's a ton of really good energy to meet other students across campuses and visit a lot of amazing schools. I'll be reading those. And then if you get any additional questions that come up, feel free to put those in the chat. I'll do my best to see those and to answer those as we go. Okay, so here's the overview of the trips. So we're super excited that all the trips have been finalized, all the dates have been put in place, and here's the schools that are visiting. So if you're going on the LA trip, You will leave on March 24th. You have a wonderful flight at 6:30 in the morning to get to LA bright and early because you'll be visiting Loyola Marymount University that afternoon. So make sure you're there plenty of time to get settled in. Also on the agenda will be visiting University of Southern California, and then there'll be a day spent visiting the Claremont colleges. The two that we have tours already reserved for are Pomona College and Claremont McKenna College. All five of the Claremont schools are next to each other, so if there's extra time, your chaperones can take you around other ones like Harvey Mudd or Scripps. But Pomona and Claremont McKenna are the two most popular that our students want to visit, so we'll be doing those for the day. So those are the schools for the LA trip and the dates in your departure flight time. For Boston, it is an extra day compared to the other trips just because it takes about a full day with time change to get to Boston. So March 24th is mostly a travel day. You'll be departing around 8:10 in the morning on that Monday, so not quite as early as our LA folks, but still pretty early. You'll be visiting Boston College, Boston University, Harvard, Tufts, and Northeastern. So really full trip. Super excited for you guys to check out some amazing schools in Boston. For Chicago, your trip is March 24th through 26th. You will also depart at 8:10 a.m. on that Monday. And the schools that you'll be visiting are University of Chicago, Northwestern, DePaul, and Loyola Chicago. So all those tours have been reserved. They are expecting you all, and they're eager to meet students from DSST. So with that in mind, just want to name what it's like on a deep trip. So again, this is our 7th year doing deep trips, and I think this is something that I just want to make sure it's really clear, is that a deep trip, it's lots of walking. So it's a lot of visiting colleges, lots of visiting college campuses. It's making sure that you're taking in the sights and sounds of the city that you potentially could be spending the next 4 years after you graduate. But again, we're walking public transportation from the train to the hotel, from the airport to the different campuses. So it's just lots of walking. So I just always want to make sure kids are always surprised, like how much walking? Probably 5 to 7 miles a day. So it's a lot of walking to kind of get around campuses. And it's lots of visiting colleges. Again, the primary purpose of this trip is visiting schools. You either will be visiting 1 to 2 schools per day. There's either, if it's a full day, there's a morning tour and then an afternoon tour. And then most afternoons are off for you and your chaperones to decide what you want to do. But the primary purpose of this trip is to make sure that you all have the chance to explore some of the top schools in America. So the primary purpose is visiting colleges. The other thing to kind of know is that all the meals are paid for on this deep trip. So all the hotels you stay at will have breakfast included, and lunch and dinner are paid for by DSST. You will have a food stipend per day. You have to, your chaperones will manage and to own. If you want to bring money for buying college swag or your own snacks, you're more than welcome to do so. But again, all meals will be covered by DSST as a way to make sure that you don't have to worry about paying for those. The other big thing is that two of our cities will be navigating public transportation. So Chicago and Boston, we will not rent our own vehicles. We will be taking the train and the metro throughout the city. So if it's your first time navigating public transportation, it's a really great experience for you to see if it's something that you want to be part of your college experience. If it's something that's overwhelming for you, maybe that's also something that you decide, I don't really want to take the train to my classes or take the train to go visit friends across the city. In LA, we'll be doing van rentals. Even though that's not public transportation, you'll get a sense of a real reality of what it means to driving around LA and in California at different times of the day. So that's the deep trip overview. When we begin our deep trip, the first thing that we need to make sure that we are all ready to go is make sure we get to the airport on time. Just because there's 12 people per trip, we're asking people to get to the airport 90 minutes before their flight. We want to make sure we get through security totally fine. We don't want to be stressed. You don't want to be that person running through the airport trying to catch your flight last minute. So it's going to be an early morning, but again, you can sleep on the plane if you're not a morning person. Hopefully, you're excited to visit some colleges. And again, they're full days, but it means that you'll just sleep great at night. We'll be doing Southwest flights for all of our flights. So when you get to the airport, you'll meet at the Southwest ticket counters. Your chaperones will be there to meet you and to help out. We have a group reservation, so you don't need to check in ahead of time for your Southwest flight. We will handle the check-in process for you and make sure that we have all that taken care of. It is the responsibility of the student and the family to arrange pickup and drop off from the airport. So we do not provide transportation. If you're worried about this, feel free to reach out to one of your chaperones in the breakout groups or talk to your campus director of college success and they can work out a plan with you. But again, DST does not have the funds to pay for everyone's individual transportation to and from the airport. So it is the student and family's responsibility to figure out their transportation plan to and from the airport. It is recommended with people leaving at the same time. You could carpool. So this is a great time in the breakout group saying, hey, can anyone give me a ride? Can I carpool with someone who lives near me? So I think there's a great opportunity for you all to figure that out together. The big thing to note is we are asking all students and chaperones to pack in a carry-on and one personal item. The reason for this is even though that Southwest does allow 2 checked bags, we are asking people to just do a carry-on and personal item. All the trips are either 3 or 4 days, and when you get off the airplane, you will be starting your college tours if you're Chicago and LA the very first day. If you're Boston, you'll have to take all of your stuff through the airport, through public transportation, and to your hotel. And it's not super fun to navigate a large city with a big 50-pound bag behind you. We also don't want a situation where if our luggage got lost or anything was to happen with that, that would just really throw off like the group and the trip. So we're asking everyone to carry and pack everything in a carry-on. If you need support with what that looks like, feel free to reach out to me individually, but it still will allow you plenty of things to pack. It is 3 days, so it's a great exercise for you. If you are going to this college for undergrad, then you'll be packing pretty lightly to get there as well. But please pack only a carry-on and personal item. We will not be checking bags at the counter. That just kind of, again, makes sure that we can all progress through the city and to the airport and make sure we can hit all of our tours and timelines accordingly. One thing to note is that you will need an ID with you at all times. So this could be a student driver's license, it can be a permit, this could be a passport, this could be any other type of identification that has your name and picture on it. You'll need this at college tours, you'll need it at the airport, you'll need it in lots of different places. So please make a plan to make sure that you have your ID with you at all times so that you can make sure that if it's ever asked upon it, you always have it with you. So don't leave it in your hotel room or leave it at your house. Please make sure you have your ID with you at all times. Transportation, again, as mentioned, during the deep trips, if you're in LA, you'll be doing a van rental with our 2 chaperones. We'll divide you into 2 groups and you'll be doing van rentals all across the city. But if you are doing Chicago and Boston, you'll be taking the trains every single day to different destinations. These are the 3 of the large cities in America. So if you're doing public transportation, we recommend, again, we have never had this happen on a deep trip. We've had great success with safety, but we always just want to make sure that we're being vigilant, especially in big cities, around making sure our valuables are near us and that we're not being vigilant about looking in case there's pickpocketers or anything around. So we always recommend staying with a member of the group. Keep all personal belongings close to you. This is one of those things you might invest in a different fanny pack or strap that goes across your chest or anything like that to make sure it's not super accessible for someone to pickpocket or snatch. Be looking out for other members of the group so you can have a buddy to say, hey, I'm going to look out for you on this train ride to make sure no one comes by as well. And some of the longer public transportation rides are 45 minutes to an hour. So just be prepared if you want to listen to some music or anything, bring your headphones. That's totally appropriate to do on the public transportation. We actually don't do headphones during the college tours to show respect to our college campuses. But if you want to listen to podcasts, music, or videos while you're on the public transportation rides, that's totally fine. Do you know that you'll have rides each day, probably up to an hour, as we navigate all across the city and different destinations and attractions as well. Our chaperones. So we are so excited to have 6 amazing chaperones be on our trip. You will have a chance to meet your chaperones in a little bit, and they'll share their cell phone number with you directly. But I want to have a screen with all their names and cell phone as well. I'll be sharing this slide deck out tomorrow with the recording. So know that if you didn't get the information, you can look at the slide deck tomorrow. But on our LA trip, we have Miss Brown and Miss Marcus who will be chaperoning that trip. For our Boston trip, we have Mr. Mejia and Mr. Shanahan who will be chaperoning our Boston trip. And for our Chicago trip, we'll have Miss Lopez and Mr. Mubarak to chaperone our Chicago trip. Those chaperones are your primary points of contact during the trip. So if you're a parent or a guardian or any other family member on this call, the first person you should reach out to is the DST chaperone for your student's trip. They'll be the best person to reach out to if you have any questions like, hey, did they make it? Did they eat all their meals? What was their favorite college? Like any questions directed to the chaperone because they'll be on the trip 24/7 with your student. I'll be available for emergencies, but again, I will not be the best point of contact because I will not be with your student on the trip. The chaperones will be. But in case you can't get a hold of your chaperone, there's other emergencies, this is my cell phone number you can reach out to as well. All right, everyone's favorite stuff, packing list and logistics. Before we dive into that, are there any questions about the deep trip overview or anything that we just went over? You can put it in the chat, you can come off mute. Scrolling up the chat, I don't see any questions coming through. Okay, we'll keep moving forward then. So, packing list and logistics. I will drop this packing list into the chat so that you have it with you. Um, one thing I'll just note is that we're going to 3 different cities that all will require different things to pack. So if you're with someone from your campus, but you're going to different trips, make sure you're talking to people that are going on your trip because the weather might change very drastically. So for our LA friends, historically we've had really great weather, warm weather. We've been able to go to the beach and it's been really awesome. 2 years ago, it rained for the whole trip. So just know I would also recommend check the weather ahead of time to make sure that you are looking at what the weather looks like. Also note that Boston and Chicago cold is different than Denver cold. So if it says 40 degrees and windy, that's really cold in Boston, and it's going to feel colder than 40 degrees and cold here in Denver. So make sure that you're packing lots of layers, jackets, different things to stay warm. Again, we are walking a lot of these trips. We will not cancel the trips or cancel the tours unless it's an emergency, like a tornado or a really bad thunderstorm that would the school would cancel the tours. So rain or shine, we're going on the trip. So make sure you're packing accordingly for your different trips. So my recommendation is a week before, check the weather and then pack accordingly. And again, make sure I would throw an extra sweatshirt or something like that to stay warm, especially at nighttime. The other thing to again mention is that we'll be out most days by 8 a.m. and back by 8 p.m. There will not be a lot of times to go back and forth with the hotel to like go and change clothes or anything like that. So you can bring your own personal backpack that you can kind of put in stuff from the tours or extra shoes or snacks to kind of take with you. That could be your personal item you can bring as well. It is recommended you wear comfortable shoes. Again, wear shoes that you would wear if you're on your feet most of the day. This is not the time to wear really cool shoes that could give you blisters or would make you uncomfortable. Again, we're walking lots and lots of steps per day. So running shoes, tennis shoes, shoes that are comfortable are really recommended to help with this. I would not wear flip-flops because again, those will not be very comfortable long term. Um, the other thing to note is please dress appropriately for the campus tours. Jeans are totally acceptable, but again, something that you would wear to school is again, we do have our dress code there, but again, these are schools that you can talk about when you apply to college a year from now, saying that you visited University of Southern California or Boston College and Boston University. And this has yielded a ton of really great results for students who go on this trip to actually get accepted by those schools. So you're making a really strong impression. So please dress appropriately for that. This doesn't mean that you need to wear a collared shirt and slacks and dress shoes every single day. Our schools, again, want to see who you are, your authentic self. But again, we recommend if you're wearing jeans, don't wear ones with excessive holes in them. Please don't wear any t-shirts or stuff that has any gang or drug or paraphernalia or things that are not appropriate for our campus as well. You represent DSST, so again, just think of the dress of how you can make a really positive impression with these colleges. Because again, when you go there and ask questions and make a really good standing, good impression with them, they'll remember that when they review your application a year from now. And again, one particular example is Boston University has accepted, I think we currently have 17 students who are currently at Boston University, and that's largely because of the deep trip. So just know this has really paid off for a lot of our students. So dress accordingly to support your chances of getting admitted to any of these schools that you get to visit on the trip. So again, as mentioned, the packing list was just dropped in the chat. You can look at that later. I'll send it out tomorrow with my summary email. But again, just kind of like to name a couple really key things. Comfortable shoes, toiletries, make sure you have that all taken care of. If this is your first time flying, do not fly with a large bottle of shampoo or a normal size toothpaste. Please get travel size toiletries that you can fly with so you're not having to throw those away at the airport. Rain jacket, sweatshirt, clothes for campus tours. Any spending money, again, you do not need to bring any money for the trip. We will cover all expenses, but if you want to bring anything to buy a sweatshirt or something late at night, whatever you want, those extra things you'll have to provide for that. Driver's license ID, super crucial. Cell phone and charger. You don't want your cell phone to die in the first day because you have no charger. Recommended to bring a water bottle just because we're going across lots of different campuses. Sunscreen, and then if the hotel has a bathing suit, you're more than welcome to use that when we get back to the hotel as well. This is kind of the other big one, just to name really clearly. Throughout the trip, you do represent DSST, so we're so grateful that we've been able to do these trips for 7 years. And one of the main reasons why we've been able to do it is we've sent amazing students. Again, there was 130 applications and 30 students were chosen. You were one of the 30 students chosen, so that's a huge honor and responsibility. And congratulations again on being chosen. And you do represent DSST, so please make sure you live out our core values incredibly well on this trip. The chaperones have been briefed and trained, and if they feel like a student is not living up to the core values and not following directions, whether that's breaking curfew each night or doing anything that goes against our DSC code of conduct, the next step that they do is purchase a plane ticket and charge it to your family's account and send you home that day. So that will be something that your parents or your guardians will have to take care of. So again, that's something that is signed in our permission slips, that's signed in all of our waivers. Respect your family, respect who you are, respect your campus, and please make sure you live up to our code of conduct for that, or we'll be sending you home on the trip. Again, we've never had to do this before. We've been doing this trip for 7 years, and we've had no disciplinary action we need to take. But again, we just want to make sure we're really very clear that you do represent DSST, and to keep doing these trips, we need to make sure that our students are showing up to the best version of themselves, and we know you can do that. As mentioned, all meals are paid for, snacks as well, you'll purchase additionally. So I'm going to pause again before I show you your schedule, which I know you're really eager to look at and are super excited about. Any questions about packing list, logistics, or anything like that before we go over our schedules for the trip? Okay. If you get more questions, feel free to put them in the chat. But the moment you all been waiting for, you're like, when am I going to visit USC? When am I visiting Harvard? When am I visiting Tufts? I'm sure you're all eager and excited about it. So I will, great question. So thank you for putting that one right here, Carmen. I'll address that in just a second. I'm going to drop the schedules in the chat so you can look at them. So you'll have a chance to also do this in your breakout groups a little bit more. So let me put this here really quickly. So I have this. In this spreadsheet, you will see the schedule for each day, and then you also will see a few other things. And I'll share this in just a second. You will see your flight information. So again, what time you depart and land. So this is really good information you need to share with your families to make sure they know when to pick you up and drop you off at the airport. And back to Carmen's question about hotel rooms. Everyone will either be sharing a hotel room with one individual or they'll have a single room, depending on like how gender identities and just sharing rooms kind of worked out. Most people are sharing a room with someone from their campus, but there's some people who are sharing rooms with different campuses. Chaperones, because they're doing this trip out of the goodness of their heart, we are not paying them for this trip. They get rooms to themselves. And if you have a student who gets room to himself, that's just mostly because the numbers work in their favor for an odd number of gender students to have to like not share rooms. So if you have a question about your room assignment, feel free to talk to your chaperone about that. In the spreadsheet, you will also see your room assignment. Just a note is that, as I mentioned in the very beginning, our hotels will be finalized by the end of the week. We've already purchased the Chicago hotel, so that's good to go. I'll pass the information along tomorrow once all this is updated. You can see that update in the spreadsheet once I get that. And then LA and Boston, I was just doing some final cost comparisons. to make sure we're staying in budget before I purchase those ones. So to answer your question, Carmen, everyone will be sharing with at least one other person for the most part. A few individuals will get a room to themselves, and that's only because of like just the odd numbers that kind of worked out based on different group dynamics. But for the most part, every student is paired up with another student and chaperones because they are doing this again because they're saints and amazing to give up time on their spring break. They will not be sharing a room with their chaperones. So we do purchase their own rooms for themselves to have. So let's do this. I just dropped in the chat 3 different links. Feel free to click the trip that you are going on. You can look at the other ones too. It's not a secret. You can see what they're doing and take a look at the schedule. Let's take about 4 minutes to look at the schedule, and then you can answer and then if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat as you go. But I'm going to set a timer for 4 minutes before we come back together. Let's take about 1 more minute to review any schedules, and feel free to drop any questions in the chat that you might have. All right, that was 4 minutes. If you have any questions, feel free again to put them in the chat or to come off mute. Great question, Tiffany. So for traveling to through the airport, it does need to be a government issued ID, so passport, driver's permit, or license. There's a few exceptions to that, and if there's a situation, feel free to one off with me. For visiting the colleges, a school ID is totally fine. But for the actual airport ticket, that's the only one that really they're asking for a government issued ID. And if there's not one that's currently available, feel free to send me an individual message and we can one off about how to mitigate through that. Thank you. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to actually head into our breakout groups and meet your chaperones and answer any specific questions for your trip. You'll be sent to those breakout rooms and will not come back whole group. So this is the last thing that you'll do. Just want to again say thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate you all taking the time out of your evening to learn more about the deep trip, and we're so excited for you to be able to go in a couple weeks. I will open up those rooms. I will jump between rooms to make sure if there's any questions I need to answer, but we will not come back whole group. Once your chaperones are done discussing things with you, you are good to go. For our chaperones, I'll put this in the chat so you can look at it as well. But kind of some like breakout group questions and objectives is like share what school they are most excited about, confirm airport arrival times and plan to get to the airport and be picked up, make sure there's anything to talk about there. Drop your chaperone's self information in the chat so everyone has it. I know some groups have done like a WhatsApp group, those kind of things to kind of prepare. If you want to do that, talk to your group about it. Make sure they're clear in the schedule day by day. Go over the packing list. Make sure the flight info is shared. Hotel information has not been shared yet, but I'll notify this group when that happens. And just do any general questions. So this is just the time. But make sure your groups wrap up no later than 5:50, just so we can give people their evenings back. And I'm sure you want your evening back as well. So I'm going to open the rooms. And okay. Breakout rooms should be open. And looks like people are going. Great.